Hello friends, today we are working on 7 laws of exponents. You'll come across this in algebra, calculus and even in physics. So let's start. What are exponents? So exponent tell us how many times to multiply a number by itself. And exponent represent repeated multiplication making numbers grow quickly. So as you see here, this is an expression and so x is a base and this 2 is an exponent on power and we call it x square. So let's break down the 7 laws of exponent. Number 1 is product of powers. It says that when we are multiplying x times x to the power a times x to the power b, basically we are adding those powers. So as you can see here, in x squared times x cubed equals x5. So how do we get to that? So when you break down x squared, that means we have 2 x's, and x cubed means we have 3 x's. So basically we have 5 x's in total, and so that gives us the power of 5. So in other words, when we are multiplying the products, its powers, they are added. So when multiplying with the same base, we are simply adding the exponent. That is the first law, that is product of powers. Moving on, next one we have is a power of a power. In this case, we have x raised to the power a times raised to the power b. So when applying an exponent inside parentheses, we are basically multiplying the exponent. So in this case, we are multiplying the exponents. Like in this example here, x squared and raised to the power x cubed, we got x raised to the power 6. How do we get to that? Because let's break this down. So x squared and inside the parentheses, and we have a cube outside the parentheses. So basically we are multiplying x squared 3 times. So x squared makes x raised to the power 6. So that is a product power of a power. Next one is power of a product. So in this case, when applying an exponent to a product, we apply it to each base. Like in here, the b is outside the parentheses of a and x is inside the parentheses. So when we are applying, we apply to each of them. So ax inside the parentheses and the b's outside means a raised to the power b and x raised to the power b. So similarly in this example, 2x and raised to the power cube, basically we have 2x times 2x times 2x, and that makes 8x cubed. Next one is quotient of powers rule. When dividing terms with the same base, we subtracting the exponent. Like in here, x raised to the power a divided by x raised to the power b is equals to ax raised to the power a minus b. And how so to understand this more, let's see this example of x raised to the power 5 divided by x raised to the power 3. So here we open it up, and so here we have 5x's on the numerator and 3x's in the denominator. So I'll just cancel out this x with this x, and since I cancel out 3x's because there are 3x's in the denominator, and so I left out with these 2 x's, and so I got the x squared. So again, when dividing terms with same base, you need to subtract the exponents. So that is the quotient of powers. The next one is negative exponent. So in this, we'll just flip the base in a fraction and change the sign of the exponent. So negative exponent says that when you have an exponent that is negative, we will make this whole equation, we flip the equation and take the reciprocal of it. and so x becomes 1 over x, and so that changed the sign from negative to positive. Like in this example, 1 over x raised to the power negative 6. So here x is in the denominator, but since it's a negative, I flipped it and changed it into numerator. In the second example, x raised to the power negative 8, I have x in the numerator. It's because when I do not have anything, I have 1 in the denominator. Let me show you. So when I'm trying to change this negative exponent into positive, I'm going to just flip it or take the reciprocal of it, and that will give me my answer, 1 over x raised to the power 8. So in simplest form, exponents are positive. You need to keep them positive. If they are negative, you need to take the reciprocal of this entire equation and flip the base. Next is the zero exponent rule. Any base raised to the power of 0 is 1. So x raised to the power 0 is 1. That means, like for example here, 7 times x raised to the power 0. So only x is raised to the power 0, not 7. So we'll just change the x raised to the power 0 to 1, and that gives us 7. And why does that work? Because x cubed divided by x cubed is 0. So think about it. In our previous law of quotient, when x cubed divided by x cubed means x cubed minus, so it's 3 minus 3, and that gives us 0. So that's how we have x raised to the power 0, and that is the answer is 1 in that case. Okay, so next one is the last law of exponent. It's a fractional exponent. In this, the inside exponent that goes on top or become numerator, and the outside exponent that goes on bottom and become the denominator in the exponent. So that makes it easier to use other exponent rules. So in this example, x raised to the power 4, and then we have a root raised to the power 9. So the inside exponent became the numerator and the outside exponent became the denominator. And in this case, we have x under the square root. So simply, when we have nothing here, that means we have x raised to the power 1. And roots means when they have nothing here, that means they have 2 in here. So the inside exponent goes in the numerator and the outside exponent goes in the denominator, and that makes x raised to the power 1 over 2. So that is all for today. The 7 basic laws of exponent. Practice these and soon they'll feel like second nature. I hope you learned something valuable from this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.